Prince Harry's departure from the royal family marked a significant shift from traditional royal roles to a new model of personal and financial independence. In early 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced their intention to step back from royal duties, seeking to become financially independent while balancing their time between the UK and North America. But why did they feel this change was necessary? Let's find out the reason behind this decision. Prince Harry's decision to depart from the royal family was profoundly connected to his mental health struggles, which were further aggravated by a perceived lack of support from within the royal institution and intense media scrutiny. Harry has been forthright in his discussions of how these obstacles affected his life and ultimately resulted in his and Meghan's decision to withdraw from royal responsibilities in various interviews and documentaries.
A royal reversal from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They are stepping back from senior roles in the royal family.
Harry's mental health issues became more apparent following his return from military service in Afghanistan, which he considers to be a significant catalyst. The emotional scar left by the death of his mother, Princess Diana, at the age of 12, was never entirely resolved until his adulthood. Princess Diana passed away tragically on August 31, 1997, as a result of a vehicle accident in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. While endeavoring to elude paparazzi photographers, the driver, Henry Paul, lost control of the vehicle at a high rate of speed.
The mangled Mercedes as he drove into the Pont de l'Alma tunnel that August night in 1997.
This caused the accident. Paul collided with a tunnel pillar while under the influence of prescription medications and alcohol. It is a tragedy that both he and Diana's companion, Dodi Al-Fayed, perished at the site. Despite the extensive efforts to save her life, Diana succumbed to her injuries a few hours later in the hospital after being critically injured. This event not only elicited a profound outpouring of public sorrow, but also ignited a widespread debate regarding the role of the paparazzi and media intrusion into the lives of public figures. The re-evaluation of privacy laws and media practices in the UK and around the globe was prompted by the aftermath of her death. During his late 20s to early 30s, he experienced severe anxiety and panic attacks. He felt all over the place mentally due to the incessant media attention and the pressures of royal life. Meghan's significant mental health issues during her pregnancy with their son Archie culminated in a crisis.
It's magic. It's pretty amazing.
In an interview, she disclosed that she had experienced feelings of suicidality. However, she was purportedly advised that requesting assistance would be detrimental to the institution's reputation. Harry and Meghan were further strained by the lack of support and the fear of the potential impact on their public image if they disclosed Meghan's struggles. Consequently, they decided to relocate to North America for a more tranquil, supportive environment where they could concentrate on healing and establishing a new life without constant scrutiny. Harry and Meghan have endeavored to emphasize the significance of mental health support and the necessity of openly discussing such issues without stigma through their public discussions on mental health. This represents a significant departure from traditional royal protocols.
Goes to battle with the British tabloid press. Not required to take the stand, but clearly wanting to be seen.
They continue to promote mental health awareness, arguing that seeking assistance should be considered a regular occurrence rather than a sign of vulnerability. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle cited a substantial lack of support from the royal institution as a critical factor in their widely publicized decision to resign from the royal family. This issue was multifaceted, comprising a broader insensitivity to their challenges and inadequate responses to personal crises. The stark absence of support at critical moments was underscored by Meghan's experience. It is worth noting that when she sought assistance from the royal institution during a mental health crisis, she was reportedly informed that receiving assistance would not be beneficial for the institution's reputation. This absence of support and comprehension was not limited to Meghan's experiences, but also evident in the institution's overall management of their circumstances. For example, the palace's handling of allegations against Harry and Meghan was frequently observed to be inconsistent with that of other royals, resulting in the duo being subjected to public scrutiny without institutional support. Additionally, the couple's difficulties were exacerbated by the institution's purported disregard for their family's security concerns and racist attitudes, particularly their son Archie, who was purportedly denied a royal title and subsequently subjected to security measures.
3-year-old Archie and 1-year-old Lilibeth. Archie can be heard chatting with his parents.
This indifference was a component of a more extensive narrative in which the couple perceived that the institution that was intended to provide them with support was undervalued and unprotected. Harry's personal background also contributed to the situation. He had long been aware of the pressures and constraints of royal life, as he grew up in the royal spotlight following the loss of his mother, Princess Diana. His decision to depart was motivated by a desire to safeguard his family from the severe media scrutiny that he perceived as having a detrimental effect on his mental health and upbringing. Their departure was presented as a transition to a more autonomous existence, in which they could fulfill their public responsibilities independently, without the constraints and expectations that are typically associated with royal responsibilities. This narrative of pursuing autonomy beyond the conventional monarchical frameworks aligns with the more fundamental concepts of personal autonomy and the entitlement to mental health care, underscoring the intricate relationship between public institutions and individual well-being. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to step down from their positions as senior members of the royal family was significantly influenced by their aspirations for financial independence and autonomy. Their announcement in early 2020 underscored their desire to establish a new existence where they could balance their personal ambitions and professional responsibilities without the financial constraints typically associated with royal funding.
Archie and 1-year-old Lilibet are making a rare cameo in the couple's new docu-series, Harry and Meghan.
Before this, the sovereign grant and contributions from Prince Charles through the Duchy of Cornwall were the primary funding sources for the couple's activities and initiatives. These funds were allocated to official obligations and certain personal expenses. However, they were subject to stringent conditions and public scrutiny. Their financial independence was intended to be achieved through various sources, such as contracts with large media companies. They agreed to lucrative contracts with Netflix and Spotify, valued at approximately $100 million and $30 million, respectively.
They're starting their own production company, promising documentaries, shows, and children's programming.
These agreements aim to secure their financial future and create content that could have a positive impact. Additionally, Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, contributed to their financial efforts, with the proceeds being donated to charity. This underscores their ongoing dedication to public service, even though it is conducted outside the conventional royal framework. Let's take a step back and see the rich history of Prince Harry and the British royal family. The British royal family, a symbol of tradition and community, is profoundly rooted in the rich soil of history, dating back more than a millennium. In 1066, William I, also known as the Conqueror, ascended to the throne following his victory at the Battle of Hastings, and thus began the legacy of this venerable institution. His reign signified the commencement of a monarchical lineage that witnessed the rise and collapse of empires, the formation of history through wars and alliances, and the development of a modern nation. The lineage persisted throughout the tumultuous and frequently violent eras of the Plantagenets, Tudors, and Stuarts, each of which profoundly influenced the monarchy. The Tudor period, which commenced with Henry VII in 1485, was particularly noteworthy for its profound influence on English society and politics. Henry VIII, his son, is renowned for establishing the Church of England, which diverged from the Roman Catholic Church. The Elizabethan Golden Age, which spanned 45 years, was also characterized by the illustrious reign of Elizabeth I, during which England grew prosperous. The transition to the House of Stuart resulted in additional conflict and the eventual establishment of the constitutional monarchy as we know it today. This was particularly evident in the case of James I, who was the first to refer to himself as King of Great Britain in 1603, following the unification of the crowns of England and Scotland. George V changed the family name from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to Windsor during World War I, thereby establishing the House of Windsor, which marked the beginning of the modern era of the British monarchy. This decision was precipitated by anti-German sentiment. The monarchy's function substantially transformed during this era, transitioning from sovereign rulers to symbolic national identity and continuity figures. This transition is exemplified by Queen Elizabeth II, whose tenure started in 1952. Her long and steadfast tenure has witnessed the monarchy's role in a swiftly changing modern world and the ebb and flow of the British Empire into a commonwealth of nations. Prince Harry exemplifies his mother's ethos by utilizing his platform to advocate for charitable causes and challenge injustices. This narrative of activism and compassion connects the historical magnificence of the British monarchy with the personal, poignant narrative of a family that navigates the complexities of public life and personal tragedy. Prince Harry's life was significantly altered when he encountered Meghan Markle due to the narrative of compassion that Princess Diana had ingrained in him. In July 2016, a mutual acquaintance arranged a blind date that marked the beginning of their story. Meghan, an American actress and activist, contributed her own distinctive blend of passion for social justice and advocacy to their relationship, which aligned with Harry's humanitarian endeavors. Their romance flourished rapidly, with a profound dedication to change-making and a shared set of values. Harry's commitment to charitable work was in perfect harmony with Meghan's background in activism and her role as a public figure who had long advocated for social justice and gender equality initiatives. The modern royal love story they represented was rooted in mutual respect and shared life missions, as evidenced by their engagement in November 2017. On May 19, 2018, the couple exchanged vows in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle.
May find strength, companionship, and comfort.
This union was not merely a union of emotions, it was also a fusion of continents and cultures. Harry's resolve to establish a new course for his family was further strengthened by Meghan's influence, which resulted in their withdrawal from senior royal responsibilities in January 2020. This choice emphasized their aspiration to establish a lifestyle that would allow them to fulfill their advocacy work globally, while also addressing modern challenges through the lens of royal tradition. Meghan and Harry's collaborative endeavors, such as the Archewell Foundation, reflected not only their dedication to community building and mental health, but also a turning point in their lives, driven by their shared commitment to making a meaningful impact. Ultimately, this unity of vision and purpose prompted them to make the profound decision to relinquish their positions as senior members of the royal family in order to pursue a new path that was more closely aligned with their personal values and aspirations for global advocacy. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have made substantial strides in pursuing a new identity that is not constrained by traditional royal responsibilities. This has been achieved through various initiatives and a unique brand identity. The launch of their new website, Sussex.com, which serves as a central venue for their ongoing projects and philanthropic endeavors, marked their strategic shift. This action represents their transition to a more autonomous position, in which they intend to integrate their personal aspirations, public service commitments, and royal heritage. The website is intended to emphasize their contributions to a variety of causes, their endeavors to maintain a connection with the public and charitable activities, and their work and commitments outside the traditional royal framework. It also indicates a deliberate endeavor to redefine their public personas as more than merely members of the royal family, underscoring their roles as advocates and change agents in society.
As long as nations struggle with COVID-19, we all struggle with it.
This rebranding clearly indicates their aspiration to be recognized as serious, impactful figures on the global stage, while also establishing a unique path consistent with their values and professional objectives. They have maintained their royal titles. This method enables them to navigate their new public positions and maintain a connection to their roots, while establishing a legacy that is independent yet respectful of their backgrounds. This precarious equilibrium illustrates their dedication to their new identities, which are predicated on pursuing a significant influence while avoiding the limitations that had previously influenced their behavior. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle initiated a new chapter after they departed from the royal family. This chapter involved substantial media ventures and agreements, intending to leverage their global influence and establish independent financial streams. Securing a multi-year agreement with Netflix was one of their most significant and early steps. This agreement comprises documentaries, feature films, scripted programs, and children's programming, and it is estimated to be worth approximately $100 million. their production company is dedicated to developing informative and inspirational content, emphasizing their dedication to positive and impactful storytelling. In addition to their Netflix partnership, they signed an exclusive podcast agreement with Spotify. This agreement was a component of their overarching strategy to interact with a global audience via digital media. Their podcast, produced under the Archwell Audio banner, was designed to provide programming that inspires and amuses audiences worldwide, demonstrating their dedication to developing content that promotes connection and comprehension. While the Spotify deal's specific financial details were not disclosed, it was a component of their broader endeavors to establish a new financially independent identity. These endeavors indicate Harry and Meghan's aspiration to redefine their public positions and utilize their profiles for advocacy and storytelling in a manner that is distinct from the conventional royal framework. These endeavors emphasize their transition into new roles that allow them to manage their professional pursuits and engagement with the public directly. After their announcement, a royal family conclave was held at Queen Elizabeth II's Sandringham estate to deliberate on the consequences of their decision.
On January 8, 2020, Meghan and Harry announced they were stepping away from the royal family to pursue a more private life.
In a rare personal statement, the Queen expressed her support for Harry and Meghan's desire for a more independent existence, despite her preference for them to remain full-time working members of the royal family. This statement was intended to transmit a supportive stance, despite the underlying challenges that were emphasized by their decision.
I need to do this for my family. This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point.
The public's response was diverse, with some individuals expressing their support for the couple's aspiration for independence, and others criticizing them for what they perceived as a disregard for their responsibilities. The media referred to the event as Megxit, a term reflecting its significant and contentious nature, reminiscent of Brexit. The discussions surrounding their decision shed light on more generalized debates regarding the role of monarchy, media influence, and individual autonomy in royal life.
They didn't want him to be a prince or a princess, not knowing what the gender would be, which would be different from protocol.
Senior members of the royal family responded with caution. They recognized the obstacles Harry and Meghan encountered due to the intensive public scrutiny. However, this recognition was accompanied by a stark reminder of the loss of their formal involvement in royal duties, such as military appointments and the use of HRH titles, underscoring their decision's substantial institutional impact. The delicate balance that Harry and Meghan sought to achieve, redefining their public roles against a backdrop of traditional royal expectations and contemporary celebrity culture, is exemplified by this narrative of seeking new independence while navigating public and familial expectations. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle continue to encounter substantial obstacles regarding public perception and media coverage, despite their decision to relinquish their royal responsibilities. Ironically, their decision, which was intended to provide them with a more tranquil existence, has kept them in the public eye, where they are frequently depicted in a critical and severe light by both media and public commentators.
Prince Harry compares leaving life as a working royal to his...
The media scrutinized their relationship intensively from the outset. Harry's initial endeavor to protect Meghan from the invasive press by issuing a statement condemning the wave of abuse and harassment she endured was unprecedented for a member of the royal family. This action established a tone of discord between the couple and the press that has endured for years. In addition, their legal disputes with the media, particularly concerning security and privacy matters, emphasize the ongoing obstacles they encounter in managing their narrative and protecting their privacy. Their endeavors to live more peacefully outside the royal framework are further complicated because these incidents frequently garner significant public and media attention. Now, we would like to know your point of view on Prince Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from their roles as senior members of the royal family. What do you think about their move towards a more independent path, focusing on their own initiatives? Please share your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below.